Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The Rock and Review is so honored to have on four-time Grammy Award-winning guitarist, composer, and teacher and instructor for guitar, Larry Carlton. Larry, thanks for coming on the show.
How are you?
Doing great. It's nice to see you there in your home studio, Larry.
Yeah, I live out here in Wilson County. And like most musicians, especially here in Nashville and LA probably, we have our little setup at the house so we can make music anytime we want.
Well, I got to bring this up. You're going to be back on tour this year, which I'm sure you're excited about, including including at Franklin Theater here near Nashville. And you're going to be there July 17th, I believe, with the 1978 album Steely Dan. Talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, over the years, the audience has wanted to hear me play some of the tunes that I happen to be involved with Steely Dan that became famous. So we've been putting together shows that incorporate, like you say, Franklin Theater. I think it's the 16th and 17th, 2 nights.
2 nights, great.
Yeah, it's cool. We're doing some tunes from my first Warner Brothers album, which had Room 335 and Rio Samba, those tunes, and some Steely Dan tunes, some with which I didn't play on, but that I love. Mm-hmm. And then Kid Charlemagne and Don't Take Me Alive, the ones that are famous. So it's a good show. It's a good show.
Well, and you're always known for doing such an incredible show wherever you tour. And I had to go back and listen to Kid Charlemagne last night and listen to your solo while I was prepping for the show. But also, you've toured with Steely Dan and played a lot of that catalog with them in the past as well. So you know the material.
What's interesting, and you're right, about 10 years ago, got a call from Steely Dan's management wanting to know if I would guest with them for 8 shows. And of course I was excited, but I had not played Steely Dan music in 35 years.
Oh, wow.
So I love telling this to you, man. I had to decide because one of my most famous solos, if you will, is Kid Charlemagne.
Right.
And so I asked my buddies and my family members at different times, I said, well, I'm going to go do these shows. Should I play the original solo from Kid Charlemagne in the show? Mm-hmm. Or should I just play the way I play now? It's been 35 years.
Right.
Well, of course, being great friends and great family members, they looked at me with that play the original solo. So I went back and learned my solo from Kid Charlemagne.
That had to be a challenge because, certainly as a musician with all of your influences and the incredible session work you've done over the years, you evolve as a guitarist and an artist. And where you were at that time when you originally cut those songs is much different than today.
It is, and it was. But it was fun to go back and say, wow, I played it. How did I play that? And figure out the fingering that came so natural to me back then.
Well, and once again, Rolling Stone has put your song as one of the top 100 guitar songs, several of your songs within your body of work. But you have played on sessions for Dolly Parton, Sammy Davis Jr., Joni Mitchell, Linda Ronstadt. I mean, the list goes on and on. Bobby Blue Bland. Yeah. I mean, can you keep track of all the songs that you've played on session-wise over the years besides your solo work?
Sure. No. I do. I was just very fortunate. I was in the heyday of the LA session scene in the 70s. And so the diversity that we were called to play on so many different kinds of music. I was very lucky to be there at that time and get to participate with so many different albums and artists, I'm 73 this year. So I've been playing guitar a long time. So it's just my pleasure that whoever's beginners, intermediate players, if they're into anything that I've done, let me share with them what I've developed and what I've learned over the years. So for the last, 8 or 10 years, I've been doing teaching videos. So if they're interested, you can check out how I do my thing. I've been going to Japan and Asia since the Crusader days.
Right.
So they've seen me play, and every time I have a new album out, I would go over and do concerts, especially in Japan.
Yeah.
with the new album. But after this many years, I was trying to figure out things that my audience would like to hear because they've heard me play for 40 years now.
Right.
And so years ago, I started putting together these packages. So Luke and I, we've gone twice together to Japan as a special show.
Right.
Robin Ford and I twice to Japan for a special show. Yeah, it was just for my audience. It's like they don't need to see me play another show with just a few new songs, but to get together with guys that we both love. I'm
Mm-hmm.
fans of Luke and Robin especially. So it's been great to be able to give that to the audience.
Well, I've got to ask you this too, Larry, since you are sitting in your studio, are you working on some new music and possibly some things coming out this year or next, or another DVD project?
Well, I do have a new project coming out for quite a while now. I have kind of not done anything in the smooth jazz market.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing these other live things like you talked about where we just blow, me and Robin or me and Luke. So I just finished a project with the great smooth jazz producer, Paul Brown. And that will be out in September. It's Larry Carlton and Paul Brown, Soul Searching. And it's right in the center of that smooth jazz market. It was fun. I haven't played with those kind of limitations, but those great hooks for many years. And if you know Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said Paul is the Quincy Jones of smooth jazz.
Yes.
He's produced over 60 number one hits in that market. So, and he's a wonderful guitar player too. So that's the project that's coming out in September.
You've been affiliated with a particular guitar for so many years of your career, but I've heard rumor that you're working with a new company coming out with some new signature models, some new guitars as well.
Yeah, after all these years of playing my Gibson ES 335, honestly, I wanted to give guitar players that are into my thing a way to get a quality instrument at an affordable price. And as great as Gibson is, they're very, very expensive and they're wonderful instruments. So I made a deal with a company called Sire, S-I-R-E. And we have a guitar line right now of Larry Carlton guitars. There's probably 11 models from solid body to Strat type to 335 type. And the average price of these quality guitars is about $600.
Wow.
So I'm hoping the young guys out there that want to have a quality instrument they can afford, that's why I'm doing this at this stage of my life.
How incredible. Well, it's a great way too, because as you said, with so many people, particularly coming out of the pandemic, I think people have been gravitating towards music, learning instruments when maybe they didn't before, and that gives them an inroad to find something affordable that they can play.
Yeah, no, I'm really proud of the quality of these things.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's so much fun catching up with you about do you think there might be another of these live shows that you would do to DVD in the next year or so? Because I love what you did with Robin and with Luke, and I got to know, and I'm sure your audience wants to know as well, Larry.
Well, I don't have that package put together yet. It's been almost a year over a year since I've done any touring.
Right.
So this year will probably be makeup dates around the world, maybe 60 dates of shows that had to be canceled. So those shows are already booked with either me with the Steely Dan material. Some nights it's me with Crusader material. Depends on what the promoter wanted. So I think this year is all straight, maybe no live DVDs this year.
Okay, so maybe next year, but I want to make sure our viewers know also for your upcoming show, for obviously new music coming out this fall, for getting lessons and some awesome guitars. Larry, where's the best place for them to go for all things Larry Carlton?
Wow. The first thing that comes to mind, and I hate it because all of the musicians and all of the songwriters that we don't get paid, but YouTube is great. I got to say it. You can find anything on there from bootleg to high quality. If you're into the music, that's where I would go listen to it.
Well, and also you've got an incredible website, because I spent some time on there as well. And I know the DVDs are available on there also, and including your touring list.
Yeah, well, that's always a great given, LarryCarlton.com, and Facebook stays up. Other than that, I haven't delved into the social media thing deep at all, just Facebook. A lot of the guys have all of it going on, but I'm kind of lazy.
You put all your efforts into the music. I can't
There you
blame
go.
you. I mean, it's incredible. I can't wait to see you at a live show, Larry. Carlton, thank you so much for coming on the Rock and Review and checking out your new album this fall. A lot of great things going on with you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm glad you invited me. I'll see you at the show.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of a Bobby Bones Show.